Hey, how's it going, y'all? This is Chaz from Classic Emoto, and this is Addressing the Issue, a series where I go over all the things Battlefield, good, bad, and ugly. Well, this time, it's a little bit of a curveball, because coming back into Battlefield 4, I took some time off from it, playing the Titanfall beta, as well as being sick, so jumping back into the game was quite the change, I guess you could say. When jumping back into the game, I was used to the Titanfall beta being very fast-paced. You're running on walls, you're jumping on Titans, you're doing backflips and front flips and all this crazy stuff, which is great. But when jumping back into Battlefield 4, I found myself lost at first. And I guess this is what I kind of want to talk about, is discouraging other players because new players into the Battlefield franchise feel lost. When jumping in, after playing and getting, for the most part, we could all agree that when going into shooters, we're all used to, when we first started, a very fast-paced, gaming. Some people, started off in the Battlefield series back all the way in PC days, but for console players, I mean, you could think back to like 007 GoldenEye and stuff like that. I mean, when you were a kid, that was even fast-paced. So when playing Battlefield, it's so much of a slower tactical game that when jumping into it, I found that this is the reason why it's discouraging new players. And this is the reason why Call of Duty fans don't take a liking to it. It's because the learning curve and just the overall idea of a tactical shooter is so different and so out there. Even though it has the same elements of a shooter, it has, first person, you got a gun in front of you and stuff like that, it's different. And it's great. When jumping into the game, I was, trying to be, this was actually my second game playing in. The first one, I was just becoming really frustrated because of the fact that I don't know, I was rushing in too much. I was finding myself just barreling in and dying over and over and over again. And yeah, I wasn't playing with teammates, so that could have been a crucial factor with no communication. But then my play style in general was very off. My shots were off. Just my tactics were completely off. Even though I was trying to take cover, running in like crazy, like a madman, got me killed so many times. And I'm not saying that other shooters, if you run in like a madman, you're gonna be successful. But the newer shooters, I mean, for the most part, shooters in the past and present do encourage a more aggressive play style, while this one more induces a more passive, way about it. And I found that very, very amazing about this game. We've been talking in the past about all the problems Battlefield 4 has been having, and I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about it more in the future, about all the things that we've don't like, what's going on in the game. But I was reading on Reddit, and a pretty, everybody was on the Battlefield 4 Reddit and was like, oh man, this game's bull, it's full of problems, and I don't even know why I'm playing, blah, 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 and it's just complaint after complaint after complaint. And then one thread, a guy said, hey, why are you guys playing Battlefield 4 if you hate it so much? And the thread posted with a very positive response, very aggressive but positive response. It's, well, we wouldn't be posting here if we didn't care about the game. We wouldn't be so open and so enthusiastic and so just overall drawn towards commenting about the game if we didn't care about it. And I think that's why it's so important that we kind of stand behind this game, because the community does care. We all do care. We love Battlefield. We love I personally started on the Bad Company Bad Company 2 when I was playing on, back in the day, was an amazing game. I did Bad Company 2 and then Battlefield 3 and then now Battlefield 4. But just overall, the comments in that thread were just very heartfelt on the fact that they want this to be their perfect game. They want this to be the game that no matter what, you could switch over to any game, and when you jump back to Battlefield, it's like, oh, it's good to beat a Battlefield. Because I'm gonna be honest. When I jumped into the Titanfall beta, I experienced something that I haven't experienced in a long time, and that was great hit registration and very minimal lag. I haven't experienced that. Even with Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty and Battlefield and every other game. And for the most part, for first-person shooters, for a while, I haven't experienced a game with very good lag compensation, or I guess you say netcode. And when I jumped on to Titanfall, it was very refreshing. And in no way, don't misconstrue, in no way am I trying to compare this to a completely different game type. I'm not. But what I am saying is I did feel kind of upset when jumping back into Battlefield 4 and finding that my hits were not, hitting on target. I was having trouble with hit registration. I was dying behind walls way late. And it was frustrating because it's like, man, you know what? I just wish Titanfall was back. Well, I want that to be Battlefield 4, and I'm sure the entirety of the community wants that. I want them to, so when a new game comes out, they're like, yeah, this is cool and all, but man, they ain't got it like Battlefield. You can't beat the Battlefield 4 experience. And I think that's really what the community wants. They love this game, and that's why we complain, and that's why I do addressing the issue, because I care about the game. It's one of my favorite games of all time because of the immersion factor. I mean, what other game can you have that does this much? It's ridiculous how well this game, the ambient noise, the noise in this game. I was actually sitting there doing this gameplay, and at one point I just stopped. I picked up this dude's recon kit, and I just stopped and listened because you could hear, all the different sounds of the game and how beautiful of a game it really is. And underneath all the shitty netcode and horrible ping and all these different types of problems, there's a really beautiful game underneath it. It's really astounding. And it took me a minute, I guess wrapping this back around, it took me a minute to kind of get that feel for it again. And I think that's what I needed. I think I needed a couple days break from the game in order to truly appreciate it, because I didn't before. I took the game for granted, and I was just doing my addressing the issues and talking about all the problems, but not really addressing the fact that it is such an excellent game, and it's so very, very much, it's very much one of my favorite games of all time. And I definitely want this to be my fallback game. For, if it's like, man, I'm getting tired of all playing whatever, I want to jump back on Battlefield. Or it's, back in Battlefield 3, every day I would come home from work or for whatever I was doing and be like, hey guys, everybody jump on Battlefield 3. Jump on Battlefield 3. Now it's more of the lines of, y'all playing Call of Duty tonight? All right, let's play Call of Duty tomorrow. I'll hit up a couple of the guys and we'll play some, a little bit so I can get some footage and stuff like that. No, like, I want this to be, hey guys, 24/7, I don't care what's going on, we're playing Battlefield 4. And so far, I guess I took the game for granted, and I need to start realizing that this has the potential, and one day hopefully will be my fallback game of all time. I know Titanfall will be coming out, and I will be putting out a lot of footage on Titanfall and stuff like that. It's gonna be a big part of my channel as well. So as many other games, I find that this channel is gonna grow to host all different types of video games. But Battlefield is kind of where my heart is. It's like, I naturally, when I'm bored, go to simfic.com and look up stats to see, when I get home, should I be using, what's my middle range gun for my assault class? What's my long range, short range gun? And like depicting each class and stuff like that that's what goes through my head when I'm bored. And that's the sign of a really good game. That's the sign that you need. The only thing that discourages me, it's like, man, if only if only I could play it like it really could, like it really is. If only I could really just jump in the game and not get frustrated because I'm getting gypped, not because of the people, but because of the actual game mechanics in itself, well, the unintentional game mechanics that's been going on. Because, like I said, back in Battlefield 3, when I jumped on, yes, there were problems. A lot of the problems. Probably a lot of the same problems, and I was just naive. And, or also because I was on console and it was only 24 players, therefore not as much lag as now 60 players. But I digress. The fact is, I guess I was very persistent on making sure that this, no matter what, was always on my mind. And I wanted to get back to that. And I think that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today, was just on addressing the issue on the fact that this game is pushing away new players. Yeah, let's bring this back full circle. I know it's a little bit of a rant, but it's pushing away players, newcomers, because it's got such a steep learning curve. Yeah, there's a bunch of problems, and I know that's been pushing away a lot of newcomers as well into the series. But like I said, when jumping back into this from Titanfall, it was such a different feel. It's so different. I don't care if it's a first-person shooter, it's different. And it's very different in a very, very good way. And it's tough to kind of push that and say, hey, you gotta learn, take the learning curve, learn it. Because it will develop and become one of your most trusted and favorite games. It's really hard to do that when you don't have the actual stats to back it up when it comes to netcode and core game mechanics. Because I could say I had a blast playing Titanfall, and no matter if you're a diehard COD fan, I could be like, hey, by the way, the netcode on that game, ridiculous. It's awesome. When you kill somebody, you felt like you should kill them, and when they kill you, you should have died. I could back that up for the beta. I'm not just saying this is for the final product. I'm saying this is for the beta. I could say that was the game and that's it. Well, for this one, I could say, hey, the game mechanics, the actual gameplay is super fun. Just, fighting the actual thinking man's game for this is ridiculous. Teamwork is essential. It is a blast with friends. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to discourage, but, I know what everybody's saying about the netcode, and it's kind of true. It's kind of a hard selling point. So I guess in the long run, this addressing the issue is the fact that if you're a newcomer to the Battlefield series, if you're coming into the Battlefield series, or if you're seeing all these other games like Titanfall, like Call of Duty, or any of these other games that are really popular, really fast-paced, and you played Battlefield once, or you've seen gameplay of Battlefield, and you're like, this is garbage, this is stupid. Give it a chance. And maybe if you need to wait till all the patches are done, if all the fixes are done, wait till this game's on sale, whatever. The Battlefield community is a very open community. No matter how many people you say, oh, get those COD jerks out of here, even that small percentage of people that don't want the COD fans, a large percentage wants the community to join in. They want more people in. Because, myself included, I didn't start on Battlefield, but when I jumped in, it was a very welcoming, open community. And it was great. It was just the overall experience of Battlefield is great, and that's what made me stay. And I hope that in the future, in the near future, that's where this game becomes. Even if it's not in this iteration of Battlefield 4, even if it's in Battlefield 5, 6, whatever game that they're going to be coming out with for this, I hope that it turns into the series where that's the hype game. That's the hype game of the year. Because the intensity of the players in this game, just the community and the overall experience you get from Battlefield 4 is unlike no other. And I know the comments are going to be spewing with, yeah, the experience of lag, the experience of this. Yeah, I understand that now. But this is why you've been here. This is why you've been a part of the Battlefield experience. It's because you love it. And you like talking about the problems of it because you care. If you didn't care, you would have just switched it back over to whatever else you were playing. So whenever you see, if you're a newcomer into the series and you see other people talking about how terrible the game is or how bad they don't like it and this, it's because they care. And it's because they have such a large community of people focused on getting the game better. And you can't really, Call of Duty, I mean, I don't like comparing this to other first-person shooters because it's a completely different experience. But Call of Duty and all these other type of games, you don't see like, oh, well, the community feedback like you do in Battlefield. You just don't. Yeah, you see the tournaments, you see Twitch always playing, stuff like that. There's a big community in COD, and a lot of people can argue that, well, a lot of people can definitely argue that the COD community is larger. But I don't find the COD community or any other really community for the first-person shooter genre is as welcoming as I found personally in the Battlefield series. And that's just my experience. Y'all might have y'all own, and that's why you stuck to whatever shooter y'all have stuck to. But this is my experience, and this is why I feel that every first-person shooter enthusiast should definitely pick it up. I'm nowhere near close to being like endorsed or anything to say any of this because you know, I wouldn't be saying anything on my channel that I didn't truly mean. And I guess this all was invoked because after playing another game and jumping back into this, I realized how much I missed it and how much of an amazing game it is, even with all of its problems. So yeah, we address the issues every week, but for the most part, I address them, and we all address them because we care. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys think of this whole scenario. Do you guys care about the game? Do y'all still, even with all its problems, what do you think? Do you think that it's worth it? Is it worth sticking around and fighting for it? Are y'all going to just jump to Titanfall when it comes out? Are y'all going to jump to another game that the second it comes out, y'all switch into it? Or, you know, in whatever case it may be. Are y'all just ready to jump the bandwagon from Battlefield? And if that's the case, why? You know, is it just because of the Battlefield 4 problems that it tarnished the entire reputation of the series? If so, you know, has the community been there to kind of console you and help you out in your times of need, I guess you could say? Just let me know, because I'm curious to see. I'm going to be sticking with the Battlefield franchise for hopefully years to come. And is it, you know, does it need work? Yeah. But I find that in due time, this is going to be my go-to game. It just will. And I'm proud to say that it is, because it's a good game. Even with all of its flaws, it's still a fun, enjoyable, good game. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this very lengthy episode of addressing the issue, more like a comeback into the Battlefield franchise and back into work. I know it's, like I said, it was a little bit lengthy this time, but I'm very passionate about Battlefield 4, gaming in general, and I like to express my emotions talking about the entirety of the game. just sitting here talking about it. But thanks again, guys. Like I said, leave feedback below. I won't know what you guys think unless you let me know. So thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate all of your following, just everything in general that you guys have been doing for me and helping me outgrow this channel. So thanks again, and as always, stay classy.